Sharon Bovat, Why Nissan Bullies Me and Did Everything They Did with the CIA, Part 4. So I talked about Carlos Ghosn's dad being part of Condor evil stuff. I talked about the Lebanese drug trafficking that the Ghosn family, this Ghosn's Lebanese Brazilian family, was connected to. Everybody in the Bekaa Valley knew each other. The Bekaa Valley is like this, Lebanon's like the size of Connecticut. The Bekaa Valley is like the capital. It was the capital of drug trafficking for the CIA, and that's where Carlos Ghosn, I believe he has a winery there today. Oh, and there's still drug trafficking going on. But anyways, long story short, Carlos Ghosn got scared about me, and I could just go on and on and on about the CIA shit and about how the CIA controls the mainstream media and memories about the Patty Hearst thing, and that wasn't too good. Memories about Jonestown, memories, and those are memories that are scary. I have memories when I was a kid growing up. My mom, we'd go to Southeast Asia every year, and we'd go to Hawaii, but by way of Southeast Asia, and we'd drop things off, and I don't know what we were doing. My mom would always make it fun, and but she'd take me into the bathroom on the airplane, and she'd strap a money belt on me, usually right about an hour before landing. And she always made these funny dresses that you wouldn't be able to see. It was kind of creepy. She didn't make them. She was not a seamstress. She wasn't a cook either. She hated kitchen. We built our own house, and I'll never forget this, in the 70s. We built a house. We were leaving Kensington Drive, where we had the Nazi neighbors, and we were getting this house in Round Hill, which was lovely. We were near the Sino family. It was like the who's who of Clayton, California. And, 2 doors down was the top gun runner for Cyclone. He ran all the guns. He became my mom's boyfriend. It was my dad, my real dad's best friend, was the gun runner for Operation Cyclone. And that's where Mr. Vickers, remember Vickers? That Charlie's War, that movie. His relative is Cal Vickers, and he worked at Nissan. And Cal reported to Catherine Perez, who was Carlos Ghosn's mistress, and then Carlos Ghosn left Catherine, and she then became my client, because then she relocated. She got to be the top woman exec at Nissan globally. And so Catherine Perez, I was her relocation consultant. And she was a former mistress of Carlos Ghosn, and then Carlos Ghosn had an Iranian mistress that he made like the top woman over at Renault. So it's a very... Evidently, if you want to make it at Nissan, you have to sleep with the right people, which is Carlos Ghosn. This guy creeps me out. I remember one time I was having dinner at Stony River Steakhouse, and Carlos Ghosn was asking Catherine all these questions, and Catherine wasn't telling him. It was Ghosn on the phone. And they're speaking in French. And I'm sure it was Ghosn. It could have been Dominic Thurman. And Thurman's the one that asked Congress for the money for the electric car. And they knew that they didn't have the technology to build. That was Dominic Thurman. And now he's like this CEO of Renault. They needed the money because they were going bankrupt. Nissan was going to go bankrupt if they did not have the money. They needed the cash. They had a cash problem. And Catherine was in charge of purchasing, and she knew they needed the cash. And my other client was John Martin, who's now like the VP of manufacturing. He was one of my clients, and they were scared shitless that I had access to government employees because this foreign company taking American taxpayer money. They do business in Iran. I don't think members of Congress knew that they were a CIA cover company that was building cars in Iran, and Iran is using our technology for their weapons. They see Carlos Ghosn is actually negotiating with Autovance, Putin's car company, at the same time. And driverless car tech is used in drones, and it's used in missiles, and electric battery parts are used in missiles. The battery itself. A good battery can make a missile go further and be more accurate. So, my God, thanks to Nissan, Israel can get the bomb faster and more accurately. Yeah. So I've actually believed that we need to become friends with the Iranians, and I believe that because I was around the people when I was growing up. In 1979-80, I went to this boarding school. My roommate was from El Salvador. Her family led the death squads that whacked that priest. And while I was in boarding school, I was only 14, my mom was working on the Khomeini thing. It was like not the guy that's around today, the guy's dad, the guy that died like a few years ago. So basically the CIA helped. They wanted to get, see, Carter let go of a lot of people. He let go of my grandfather. He let go of a lot of really smart people. He let go of a lot of smart CIA people, and they were a little pissed. And so there was like Operation Get Rid of Carter. And Howard Baker wanted to be president. And he is the one that pretty much orchestrated. The guy was a genius. And he hated me, and that's why I was bullied in the courts. And Baker Donaldson, Bridget Carpenter and Baker Donaldson, they terrorized, they lied, they did all these false statements. And if there is a Jesus, James Comey and the FBI will raid Baker Donaldson and get all the information about what was done to me, because what was done to me was wrong, and it was Howard Baker. And I mean, it was really funny because my mom, she was a Democrat, and she wanted me to meet Dianne Feinstein, and I got to meet Dianne Feinstein, and actually met her several times, and Dianne Feinstein used to come to our house for AUW meetings. Dianne Feinstein's actually a big hawk, and Dianne Feinstein probably knows who my bio dad is, and that's probably why she's totally ignored me. And you know, fuck you, Dianne Feinstein. I'm sorry I gave you the middle finger, but you know what? I've been under hell. Your office has known it. And why when you were at my house, right? My house, when I was a kid for AAUW meetings in the 60s, 70s, and you knew my mom, you let me go through all that hell. So I'm sorry I flipped you off. I'm a little angry. Oh, I forgot to say that I was conceived in 1964. 1964 I was conceived. My dad was in Laos running drug shit for the CIA because we were protecting America by doing it ourselves and not using mafias, okay? So my dad's in Laos, I'm conceived, and Ed Daly paid for my boarding school with my El Salvadorian roommate that whacked the priest Oscar Romero, okay? So, but I found out that Ed Daly, everybody thought Ed Daly was my bio dad, and that's what I was told, and I was implied to believe that. And I actually got to meet the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Rumsfeld, when I was like 10 years old. He called me a brat. I have no other memories of Mr. Rumsfeld. He called me a brat. I mean, he seems okay. His people have been nice to me now. But what I'm saying is that people knew that Robert Kennedy could be my bio dad, okay? And they've let me suffer. And I know that there were a lot of illegitimate Kennedys. And this guy, Silberman, this belligerent judge that was